Hello, good afternoon everybody. So my name's Luke King. I'm a second year sports coaching student and this is my assignment 2 video reflection diary for TL2131 Sports Development in Action. So when starting the module I was required to undertake a 30-hour placement and I've chosen to take this with Streetwise sports clubs run by Westview Leisure Centre, in which I have at this point completed my 30 hours placement with the Streetwise organisation. This has been a very beneficial experience for me in terms of my development as a coach, and also I have gained great experiences working with other coaches and other experienced professionals. So these are ages 8 to 14, the participants at the community club, and I will explain this further in the coming presentation. Okay, as the outcomes suggest on the presentation slide, this presentation video diary, I will demonstrate an understanding of the wider social benefits of my placement and evaluate the key strategies that relate to this organisation and also the key themes that come into play within my placement. I will also underpin this with academic literature within these key themes, which are sport and health, girls and women in sport, sport and crime, and equality. So the placement structure that I have undertaken has been over a series of months in 5 months blocks, and this totaled up to a total of 30 hours placement. Okay, for my own development as a coach and as a student throughout the module, I have set myself some aims before actually undertaking placement. So as seen in the diagram, I've listed how I will achieve this. So firstly, some important aims that I've set myself are to build positive rapports with the placement organiser and the other coaches, and most importantly the children at Streetwise, which are different genders, abilities and have different interests in sport. And then again, to challenge my ability, which is a very important aim, to challenge my ability as a coach and as an individual. This aims to maximise my enjoyment of sessions and also encourage creativity for the participants in the sessions. Okay, and then an actual definition of creativity suggested by Mehmet and Roth 2007 is defined as varying, rare and flexible decision making made in complex game situations. Okay, so a little bit about an overview of the organisation and what they do. So who are GLL, and especially what does Streetwise do and how do they influence participation in sport in the UK. So firstly, GLL are a charitable social enterprise with the aim to facilitate children's needs across the country and make facilities better for people across the country, hence their slogan, better for everyone. They have over 250 centres across the UK and the country, which all aim to encourage an inclusive background in sport and make sport as successful as possible among all ages. So my role at this placement is a community sports club coach, which I help set up and run the sessions for the ages 8 to 14, which requires many skills such as people management, confidence, organisation. Okay, some key strategies that actually link into this organisation, before I delve into them a bit, is that within the Lancashire Sports Strategy 2013 to 2017, they state the aim of growing participation and retaining participation for young people with the use of sport and activities. So to emphasise this a little bit more, they actually stated 30% of 16 to 25-year-olds in Lancashire did no sport, and should do 60 minutes every day of sport involving moderate to vigorous physical activity. Another key strategy or policy document that relates to the low numbers of participation in sport among Preston is the Physical Activity and Sports Strategy 2015 to 2020. Within this document, they state that in Lancashire at county level, the level of inactivity is 30.41% within this document. Okay, and this is for all ages among Lancashire and Preston. And the Chief Medical Officer's report, 2011, also state that 5 to 15-year-olds should do 420 minutes of physical activity or sport per week, which is not currently met. So what have I gained working as a volunteer and a sports club coach with Streetwise sports clubs? So firstly, as a really important experience that I've gained, is I've gained a better insight into coaching children of a wide ability and interests, ages 8 to 14. This involves different genders, as mentioned. An example of this is learning the correct ways to deal and meet the needs of people that are deemed to be challenging in terms of their behaviour. And also I've gained a really great experience of learning to communicate with them and meet their needs and make them have a really enjoyable time. Okay? And then Streetwise sports clubs. So as mentioned with this, figure 1 suggests the main motivators to participation, which is suggested by Allender et al. 2006. So within this study, he mentions that young children have the main interests of participation in sport for experimentation and unusual activities. So this directly links to the Streetwise sports club sessions, as the sports are very unusual, which involve fundamental movement skills and skills that are not necessarily used in schools every day. Games like these involve Danish long ball, quick cricket games, bench ball, dodgeball, really good for their development and their enjoyment. And then, however, on the other hand, to argue this, the barriers were deemed to be competitive sports and also highly structured activities, meaning these activities that seem to be competition, this can put people off due to competing against others, which may be a barrier again. Another important document to consider, which relates to the wider social benefits of sport, which I mentioned, is the Preston Physical Activity and Sports Strategy 2015 to 2020, with their main aims and outcomes being to tackle levels of inactivity across all ages and people, and reduce the barriers to participation by encouraging people to participate in sport and exercise and participate in sport at least 30 minutes per week, which could be walking, cycling, participating in sports, meaning it's quite a moderate activity as opposed to vigorous. Another key outcome or aim that they have is to be inclusive and give people equal opportunities no matter what their age or ability. This relates to the Sport England strategy, which is this one. So their main vision is we want everyone, regardless of age, background or level of ability, to feel able to engage in sport and physical activity. Some will be young, fit and talented, but most will be not. We need a sports sector that welcomes everyone, meets their needs, treats them as individuals and values them as customers. Another key organisation at national level is Sport England. So firstly, in Sport England's Towards an Active Nation strategy, 2016 to 2021, they believe that it's a response to the government's Sporting Future strategy, and like many organisations, they focus on investing money into initiatives such as Sportivate, which I will mention in due course, and they spend a total of 25% of their income on making sport bigger and providing equal opportunities to people in sport. UK Coaching 2017 support this by understanding the diverse needs of participants to create an inclusive and welcoming environment. So, Sportivate, as mentioned. Sportivate was a £56 million lottery funded programme launched in 2011 as a 4-year programme originally, but was highly successful and gained an extra £10 million funding, meaning it could run until March 2017. Again, Sportivate has many social benefits, such as giving people that are young and aren't fully active the chance to enjoy sport for 6 to 8 weeks with free activities. This has many social benefits on people, such as interpersonal skills, self-esteem, confidence, which alludes to the fact that socialisation is an important part of sporting environments. So, it's important to consider the wider social benefits of Streetwise specifically on the community. So, sport and health is a key theme, as children participating in sport is a key influence to living a healthy and positive life. In addition, it contributes to staying involved in sport in later life, suggested by Jones et al. 2004. Examples of this are children involved in sport outside of school, as well as PE lessons, meaning children have equal opportunities to enjoy sports. The sessions at Streetwise meet this, as they are inclusive and for all abilities, meaning they can greatly contribute to health and overall fitness. So, sport and crime, this is a key theme that relates to Streetwise, as the Streetwise sessions contribute to reducing crime on a small level, as it gets children off the streets and allows them to socialise with other children, building positive relationships and reducing antisocial behaviour, which occurs in the area around Westview. So, sport and health, the first key theme. Streetwise sports clubs play a key role in maintaining sport and health. As shown in the diagram by Johnson, 2007, it states that children involved in sports and physical activity regularly are more likely to participate in sports as adults. These opportunities for children to play sport and socially interact with other children outside school hours are very important for psychological development. It's suggested by Gordon, Larson et al. 2004 that low levels of sport and physical activity during youth contribute to poor health outcomes in adulthood and adolescence, such as obesity and lack of confidence in body shape. This can potentially involve mental health too, such as lower confidence levels and self-esteem. Socialisation is a very important part of the sporting process, especially at Streetwise. Socialisation is defined by Coakley, 1998, as a process by which individuals develop their conceptions of who they are and how they relate to each other through their social interactions, adopted by Cote and Hay, 2002. So girls and women in sport is another key theme that relates to Streetwise and especially at national level, as in 2015, in the diagram adopted from Sport England's website, Sport England 2015, this diagram states that gender has a big influence on activity levels, as currently about 41% of men play sport at least once a week, compared to only 31.6% of women. This is reasonably accurate due to the Streetwise session involving very little female participants, as there are only currently 4 participants that are female, as opposed to 28 that are male. Again, it's suggested by Coakley and White, 1992, that young girls face barriers to sport and participation, such as negative experiences in school, body image, peer pressure, and lack of teacher support. Again, Flintoff, 2001, argues that teenage girls aged 13 to 19 participating in sport have experienced increases in confidence and self-esteem, increased fitness, and learning new skills. A key organisation that relate to this is This Girl Can, which are an organisation with the aim, it is a celebration of active women who are doing their thing, no matter how well they do it, or how well they look, or even how red their face gets. So sport and crime. Crime among young people in this country is among the rise. In the last 15 years, in Canada, a different country, the rate of violent crimes among young people has increased by 30%. This was a current statistic in 2008 by Youth Crime 2008. Organised sports can give people a positive identity, feelings and empowerment by acquiring leadership and teamwork skills under adult supervision, suggested by Jamieson and Ross, 2007. Examples of this at the Streetwise sessions are the qualified coaches act as role models and support people to make sure the children feel safe and gain the most from the sessions. Against another organisation that relate to this are the Street Games, which are a charity set up by organisers of neighbourhood sports projects. In 2005, they worked together to make sport more available to disadvantaged young people and to use the power of sport to help disadvantaged communities. Another important key theme is sport and education. So, first of all, there is a correlation between sport and education, suggested by Aicinema, 1992. Children socially interact both at school and in sport outside of school. The sessions at Westview, Streetwise Sports Clubs, focus on social development, inclusion and enjoyment. So some contributions that sport has towards education are the school games, community clubs such as Streetwise or Premier League Kicks programmes, and also PE lessons for that matter. So school games is an initiative run by Sport England, which is a 4-tier inter-school competition which involves Tier 4 being the highest tier, involving the most talented young people in the UK competing in high-performance venues, whereas Tier 1, being the lowest tier, is a sports day competition held at the school between the pupils. So it's important to understand participation in sport and the reasons for this. So a study conducted by Allender et al. 2006 explored the reasons for children's participation. So the purpose of this study was to understand and establish the key influences for children participating in sport. So the study identified that children enjoyed sport in an environment when they weren't forced to compete or win, but to try unusual activities and experiment themselves. In the previous slide, it's mentioned that participation and unusual activities are a key influence for participation in young children, suggested by Mulvihill et al. 2000. So parents for children participating in sports also play key support models, as they support their children in the sense of being role models by providing their children with motivation and facilitation. So facilitating their needs by, this could be financially, such as taking them to sports sessions, or also providing costs with them, such as buying football boots or equipment that they need. They also urge their children to have fun in multi-sport sessions at Streetwise, and however the parents, the motivation that they give their children is dependent on many factors such as socio-economic status and employment status. So, the first month of my placement began in November 2017 when I first met my placement organiser, Jessica Clegg, who has now been replaced by Marcus Taylor, who is the head of running the sports clubs at Streetwise. So within this month, I was quite laid back in my approach to the sessions, as I didn't have a great relationship with the people I was with due to not knowing them very well. However, as the months progressed, I can say that I was more comfortable within the sessions. Another thing, the first week of month 1, I was briefly explained to health and safety regulations of the organisation, such as the fire exits of the organisation, and also the 3-strike rule, which is to use for discipline for the children, as some of them are quite challenging and not that well behaved. So examples of this is they'll get a warning if they misbehave, and then if they're told again, they will be removed from the session for 2 weeks. So it's good to lay down discipline within these sessions. Okay, month 2 involved December 2017. So my first session in this month, before the Christmas holidays, involved actually me running a warm-up for the children, which consisted of a game of sharks and fishes, which was a very fun warm-up in which they loved. And again, that's tailored for each ability that participates in the sessions, which is really fun. And again, I actually gained more of a relationship with the head coach, Raheem, who's actually a UEFA B qualified coach, actually doing his UEFA B, and he actually gave me some advice as to how to run and plan the sessions in an environment that I've not actually coached in yet. As mentioned, so in month 3, which was January, I gained an understanding of the actual activities and the aims of the activities that were run at these sessions. Examples of these are Danish long ball, dodgeball, bench ball and football. These are all really great for fundamental movement skills and purely based on the enjoyment of the participants rather than a competitive nature. Again, it's really, really good for the social development, and I actually began in this month to set up the sessions and actually create conversations with the participants themselves and actually enjoy the sessions much more, as I was actually fitting in at this point and gaining great relationships with the players. Okay, so month 4, which was February 2018, at this point I was roughly 2/3 of the way through my placement. Within the first session of this month, there was actually some very bad conflicts in the sessions in which participants had disagreements which challenged my coaching ability, as I had to intervene with the session as there was fights that kicked off. So I actually had to use my approachable personality and also be assertive to actually prevent this and prevent anyone from getting injured within this session. Okay, which this actually sounds bad, but it provided me with a great experience as to doing something that was in the unknown and unexpected. So it's great to challenge me as a coach. Okay, month 5, so March 2018, the current moment. By this point, I have finished my placement, 30 hours done, and by now I'm actually running almost the full sessions of these the club, and I'm having a great relationship with the players and also with the coaches. I know what I'm doing within the sessions, and I've gained so many aims through this. I've achieved my aims, as I believe that I'm much more confident in this environment, and I've definitely challenged myself within these sessions, as I feel I've encouraged the participants to be creative and to gain the most out of the sessions. So examples of these of being creative is we would set up a game called Island Dodgeball, where we would set 4 corners in the sports hall, naming each corner a country. However, we would allow the children to name the corners of the countries, which put more of an emphasis on them as opposed to us as coaches. Okay, so some important feedback gained from my placement officer, which is really, really important to consider for my development as a coach and a student. So first of all, before mentioning the feedback, I was actually representing UCLan as a student, which was highly important to make good impressions of the university and the course, especially in sport. So feedback from my placement officer, which was gained in real life, so it was great to have a face-to-face meeting with her before she left. So I was said to have great involvement within the sessions and enthusiasm, which was great to hear. And also I was very professional by the way I turned up on time, I was well dressed, and I looked the part in the university. Also, I feel it was great to represent the university, and Jessica Clegg, the placement officer, said that I did a great job within my placement, and also she said it was great for me to get involved, to see me getting involved, and making a great impression on the children involved. Also, she said my coaching style was good, and the way I coached was really positive towards the children. Reflections for this placement. I've now done my 30 hours, so it's important for me to reflect upon this. So, reflection is described by Gilbert and Trudel 2001 as a process as when an individual turns experience into knowledge. It is also then beneficial for coach development by understanding how actions and behaviour affect development, suggested by Knowles et al. So what I have gained from this is I have gained an important and valuable experience working within a sporting environment. I've created positive rapport with placement officers and also the coaching staff and especially, most importantly, the children that I'm working with. While undertaking the 30 hours placement, I've understood that the players are more player-directed, and they can work as leaders within the sessions, so they are more developed than I imagined. Also, the democratic approach to coaching, suggested by Horn et al., is used within this session. Again, this is great for my future career in sport, as gaining an experience like this within a PE teaching setting is vital for my development. So, before beginning placement as well, I actually set myself a personal development plan, or PDP. The 3 priorities mentioned in this were to develop people management skills, which was similar to the aims, build rapport with the placement organiser, and improve communication with children. So I feel I have improved my people management skills and communication due to learning how to intervene when there are fights within sessions, and also building rapport with other coaches, as I've mentioned. This is due to my outgoing and approachable personality within the sessions. So finally, to conclude, I have completed 30 hours placement over a series of 5 months, and these sessions were based for ages 8 to 14, run in this Westview Leisure Centre Sports Hall, 4 till 6 p.m. every Thursday night. My role was an assistant sports coach, as mentioned, and I thoroughly enjoyed this, as coaching is a career I'm highly interested in. And again, a typical day of placement for me involved arriving at the leisure centre on time and prompt, looking presentable for 3:45, signing in on the sign-in sheet, and then setting up the session, running the session, and then also gathering the children in at the end and gaining feedback from them on how they thought the session went. And overall, I plan on undertaking this placement next year, as I've really enjoyed it this year. Okay, and a reference list to support all the reading and academic literature that I have undertaken.